Hello friends, and welcome to the first somewhat proper video I'm filming in my new plant room in our new house. I can't believe we are here. I know I promised y'all a plant room tour, but I'm not quite done with that, so I figured I would do a little repot Q&A with you first, because there's some things that I need to do. A couple things fell over. Some things I've been putting off and I'm finally gonna actually tackle, and I figure we could do it together while I answer questions that y'all have had for me about this move, because I've been keeping it under wraps for so long and I've been somewhat mysterious about it. Before we get into it, I want to say, if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you returning. Now, let's get straight into it. I think... Ooh, what do I fancy doing first? Let me do this one first, because why not? The first one I'm going to do is my little Euphorbia trigona, I think it's called. My little variegated Euphorbia. It's just in a terracotta pot with a drainage hole, which is not my cup of tea. I'd much rather it be in a nursery pot. I don't know. This is just not my style. So I can... Oh, and it just pulls right out. I mean, should I just like not bother it too much and just put it straight in with a little bit of new soil? I think I might do just that. Because it doesn't need anything crazy. Oh my goodness, okay, this isn't about the repotting, this is about my move. So, first question I want to answer is, how long has this been in the works? Because I mentioned it's been in the works for a while. We decided we wanted to move, like sell our flat in London and move, in the beginning of 2025. And we actually put our house on the market then as well. And unfortunately we weren't able to find a buyer that like suited us. The market was pretty bad last year. It's not much better now, but we weren't like fully ready to accept what was going on then. And so we ended up pulling our flat off the market in July of 2025 without having sold it, because we couldn't quite find the thing we were looking for. And so at that point we were already planning the move to Wales. That was the goal. We'd like even made a trip out here to like have a look around and sort of get a vibe for what bits of Wales that we liked and which bits we weren't as keen on. And so it's been in the works for a hot minute, and we finally put our flat back on the market in February, I think, of 2026. We found a buyer, and it's taken this long to sell our flat. We only completed earlier this week, so it's officially, we are no longer homeowners, which is kind of crazy, and yes, kind of feels like a step back, but I can talk about that more in a little bit. So yeah, we've been working on this for ages, and it has finally happened. And that is why, if you didn't notice, that is why we did all of the rearranging we did in the flat earlier this year, so we could stage it for photos and make it look like it was a better property. Not that it wasn't a good property, but like, we wanted to make it look like there's 2 bedrooms possible, and so that's why we put the couch into the office, and that's why I got rid of some plants, because it looks a little bit better when there's not 1,000 plants around. It doesn't look as crowded. And so that's why all of that stuff happened. That's why the entire downsize happened. I was, yes, feeling overwhelmed with things, and so it was a good excuse to like finally make that happen. It kind of gave me the push to make those big decisions, but it's been in the works for so long, and I've wanted to tell y'all about it for ages, but like, I just didn't want to muck anything up with the flat sale, and I didn't want any of you, like, not that I think any of you would be those kind of people, but like, putting myself out there on the internet is inherently like mildly risky, and I didn't want me saying we're selling our flat for like people to then go look for our flat online, find it, view it. You know what I mean? Like that seems terrifying. And like the likelihood of one of you being that is, I feel like, kind of slim, but it only takes one to risk our safety. So that's kind of why we didn't mention it for such a long time. And I actually didn't even mention that we were moving until we had already moved, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, it has been in the works for quite a long time. The next question I got a lot was, why are we moving? And honestly, it's just because we're feeling very tired of London life. It isn't quite my vibe. I've known my whole life that I've not been a big city person, but I moved to the UK to do my master's degree, and so like, where are the best master's degrees? In like the big cities. And so London made sense, and it's kind of a good stepping stone to moving to England, full stop. And so it made a lot of sense. And then I met Joe, and we've been working here, and now I'm self-employed, so I can kind of work anywhere. But we've been living the London life for a while, and we basically weren't taking advantage of it to its fullest. Like, everything is just so expensive. I hate relying on public transport. It is such a terrible time, and like I get so overstimulated and uncomfortable, and I was just tired of it, and I wanted to move somewhere like by more nature basically. And so when we were looking for a place to live, we had like close to nature very, very high up on the list of like things that we wanted in a future home. And we ended up choosing Wales because Joe is actually able to move offices with his work. They have different offices throughout the country, and there's an office in Cardiff, and so it kind of made sense. I think the other offices were like Birmingham and maybe Edinburgh or something like that, but I don't really want to live in the Midlands. No offense to the Midlands. I kind of wanted to be closer to the coast, and I didn't really want to live in Scotland because it's like, while the summers are really lovely and nice and it's by so much nature, the winters are so much darker and colder and more difficult, and like I already struggle with winter in the UK, and so like, why would I want to make that harder for myself? I would gladly visit Scotland because I do really like Scotland, and so Cardiff kind of just became the best option, and we decided we didn't want to live in the big city, so like we're kind of in the outskirts, like surrounding area of Cardiff, so South Wales, and we so far really, really love that we picked here, and it kind of just ticked the most boxes because it's also by the sea, which I love. I love being by the sea. It's the California girl in me. Being by the ocean, even if I don't go in. I love a beach walk. I love a cliff walk. That is where I am at my happiest. Like, I just love the idea of knowing that there's just like no one out there for like miles and miles and miles. Whereas like in London, you're no further than like maybe 10 meters away from someone at most points in life. No, that is too stressful for me. I do not want that. And so we left it. We're really, so far, very happy for it. What was the next question? Have we been to this area much before? Yes and no. So we have been to Wales quite a bit. Joe and I actually got married in Wales. For those of you who didn't know, we got married in the Brecon Beacons. We really, really like the sort of area and the national parks that are around here. Next up, I am repotting my Sansevieria Silver Flame, I think it is. I literally cannot remember the last time I repotted this thing. It has been ages. But it's begging for it. So let's give you a bigger pot. So yeah, we got married in Wales. We did our mini moon in Pembrokeshire, which is the west coast of Wales, which is gorgeous as well. Highly recommend. Basically, Wales is gorgeous. That's another reason why we decided to move here. But we haven't been to Cardiff loads until we were looking to move out here. Because once we figured out that Joe can work out here, and that this was kind of the area we wanted to be in. We did make a few trips to kind of look around, see if it fits the sort of vibe we like. And I mean, Cardiff itself as a city is lovely. We are close enough to it that I can still have access to all of the things I need in a city, like if I need to go to the mall for clothes, or if I want to go to like a fancy restaurant or something like that, or a concert. I went to a concert last weekend. That's going to be in a vlog coming up this weekend. Like, I still have access to all of the city things, but I'm not in the city, which is something that I really love. That's what I loved about living in San Diego. When I was in San Diego, it's like not too big of a space, and I love the independence of having a car and driving places and all of that sort of thing. So while we hadn't been here loads before moving here, I think it was a risk that we were willing to take, that we were gonna like it, because like it ticked so many boxes for us when we were thinking about what we wanted. Someone's asked, what am I most excited about life in Wales? Honestly, I think it has to be the proximity to nature. We haven't had loads of time to go on like walks or anything like this trip, but previously when we were house hunting and stuff, we just like stopped between looking at places and went to the beach. Who doesn't want that? And like they're like to the side of our house, there's just like a big forest that we could go walk through. And like we were so close. I think we're like an hour out from the place we got married in Brecon Beacons. And so it's like we are so close to all of the nature, and we really want to go camping and hiking and all of that fun stuff that are things that Joe and I really, really love to do. We just haven't been able to do it because we haven't had like the most access. Like it's really something, those are really things that you need cars for, I feel like. Because I know you can go on walks from London, and we've done it a couple of times, but it's just so much harder, and you end up spending like an hour or two on a train to get to the place you want to go, and that is just a pain in the ass. So I think definitely the nature aspect is a huge thing for me. So I'm really looking forward to that. Next up, I'm going to pop my Hirschkeliana. I hate saying that name, but it is doing so well. It has branched out from a single spot, which is so good, but it's in such a tiny pot. I accidentally knocked it over when I was putting up my cabinets, and it's time for something a little bit bigger. So we're gonna pop it in some anthurium and orchid soil in, I mean, honestly, quite a size up. Is that too big of a size up? I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. It'll be fine. Also, I'm excited to have a little bit more space here because in Wales, there's actually, like, you can get so much more for your money out here. So for the cost of our 2-bedroom flat in London, which wasn't insanely big or anything like that, it ended up feeling quite small by the end of it. For the cost of that, get like a 3-4 bedroom house in the UK. And so we are actually renting now instead of buying. And that is just because we weren't entirely sure if we were gonna like it here. Obviously, we think we will, and we've picked it. And so far, this past couple weeks, we've been really enjoying it. But like, we didn't want to take such a risk in going and immediately buying elsewhere in the country because neither of us have lived in this part of the world. And so we didn't want to make the assumption that we were going to like it right off of the bat. And so we have decided to sell our place and rent out here in Wales for a little while. But we have been able to rent something so much bigger than the flat in London. Basically, this place has 3 bedrooms, or 2.5, because one's a box room, which is Joe's office. So 2.5 bedrooms, 3 bath, and technically 2 living rooms. This is the second living room, which is now my plant room / filming studio / editing room desk space. So much bigger, which is amazing. And it's a house. It's a fully detached house as well, as opposed to a flat. So we are not like we don't have a communal hallway or anything like that, which is great. It's got a driveway for our car. Like, there's so much more space. And yes, we know renting is more expensive than buying. We understand that, but we didn't want to take the risk of buying right away. So if we were renting our flat in London, for the cost that it would have cost us to do that, I think we probably would have been able to rent a place bigger than this here. But we didn't want to, like, overextend ourselves too much because, like, we don't need a 5-bedroom house. That is kind of ridiculous. This is actually kind of the perfect size for us and, like, what we've evolved into with, like, lots of space for the cats and space for Joe and I to each have our own spaces and a guest room and our bedroom and, like, all of that stuff. So we have got so much more room here, and it really means that we can, again, live our life more how we want to, which is great. The other thing this place has is a garden. A lot of you asked about that. And yes, we do have a garden. It isn't like a crazy garden. It is just sort of gravel, which we don't mind, and actually we kind of prefer because we are renting. It's like, a lawn would be great, but with a lawn comes maintenance, and we didn't want to maintain an outdoor space like that. So what we're planning on doing is probably doing some sort of pot garden kind of thing. We'll get some maybe trees in pots or build some raised beds, maybe do some outdoor vegetable gardening. Overall, I think that is going to be more Joe's forte than mine. While I do have some experience with outdoor gardening, it's not like huge experience, and so I know I can take my hand on it, but I've got enough plants here to take care of that I don't necessarily want to be taking care of loads and loads outside as well. So we're gonna see what happens with that. It is kind of late in the season now to be getting stuff, but like we do have plans. I don't know, can we plant stuff in the fall and autumn? I know it's still summer, but like by the time we've figured it out, it'll probably be autumn time. I don't know, that's something we'll have to look up. So I basically told Joe if he wants to do like outdoor garden stuff and like maybe grow vegetables and stuff, which I think we would love to do, it's gotta be his responsibility as opposed to mine, because I've got enough to deal with all of these. So I think that would actually be quite fun for him as well. So anyways, got that sized up. It was quite easy. The next one that I need to do is another one that just fell over. The Crimson Princess, it dropped so much soil. Because again, this one's only got like a couple of cuttings. Actually, okay, it's 2 cuttings that have grown into like that entire plant, which is crazy. So it just needs a little bit more oomph, like weight in its pot for it to succeed. Another question is, do we know anyone here? No. We don't. That's actually probably one of the few downsides of this space. We don't really know anyone here, and so we're having to like make entirely new friends. That's probably the worst thing about the move. I talked about it in, I think, a vlog recently or a Patreon video or something, that like I've only just sort of like made my core group of friends now that I'm like a 30-year-old woman, which is crazy. So like I've only just found a core group that I absolutely love, and not all of them live in London proper, but most of them are close enough to London that we could like get to each other within a couple of hours. But now I've kind of just gone and moved away from all of that, but it is for our personal sanity and like how we want to be living our lives. So like it does suck, but also not 1 but 2 friends who have lived outside of London for a while have messaged us saying they're like somewhat in the area and like asking if they can come visit. Since we've moved here, we've been here for 2 weeks. Like we weren't even getting that when we were in London, which is absolutely surreal. And so like I think while we are not necessarily losing friends, but like losing easy access to like be around our friends, we have more space here now to host, and we're by the seaside, and so like I really want to encourage my friends to like come out and visit me and like kind of treat it as a bit of a holiday. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also somewhat looking forward to trying and making new friends and like meeting new people out here, which is definitely a scary thing that I have to learn how to do. And so I will be talking about that more in vlogs. I think I'll take y'all with me for that kind of stuff. So if you are interested in my like making friends in a whole new place journey, go check out my vlog channel, because I will be talking about a whole bunch more there, because it's probably not just going to be finding plant people. Who knows? I mean, all of my main friends, not all of, a good chunk of my main friends I made through houseplants. So it's very, very possible that that could happen again, but who knows? Here we go. There's that. Easy peasy. And it still fits in the head planter. Covering the face. It still fits in the head planter. And then I have a couple of things in semi-hydro that are just looking a little bit floppy. Like, they just need a little bit more. Because, like, also, look at these words. So, this first one is the variegated black stem. And I will do that in, I think probably this. I'm going to go no drainage with it, because I think that will suit it well. Speaking of semi-hydro, I rinsed a bunch of new semi-hydro outside in the garden, which was so nice. I'm really looking forward to like being able to do big repots out there, or like watering my moss poles out there. It's gonna be so great. So really pleased to have the opportunity for a garden. Am I gonna buy more plants to fill the space? I don't know. I honestly do not know if I will. I'll probably get some new plants, yes, but I don't think I'm going to specifically buy plants to fill the space, because I have a plant room now. I don't necessarily want to fill the rest of the home to the level at which our flat was planted out. I just, like, I enjoyed having plants on every possible surface, but it did get quite annoying in some areas, and I know it wasn't necessarily ideal for Joe, and so if we can avoid going overboard with it, I will. There we go. So to answer that question, probably not to the extent that some of you might think I would. I know people probably kind of expect me to fill things out, and I'm not saying that my plants will only be in this room. I already have a couple of plants that I've placed elsewhere in the house, and I really like where they are, but I definitely don't see myself filling things as intensely as they were before, just because I don't think that's a feasible way to live long term. It's not super duper sustainable. And I feel like while my home, I still want it to be planty, and it still will be planty, I think it'll be closer to what a normal person, a person who's not very highly into plants, closer to what they would expect like a house-planted home to be than what people who like plants might expect a house-planted home to be. Does that make sense? Like, I will still have plant places. It's just not going to be as, like, crazy full as it could potentially be, I don't think. But yeah, I'm sure I will find some spaces for new things. Honestly, I still have to put up shelves in here and in the bedroom for some plants. And I can kind of decide then if I have room for more, because I am looking forward to exploring like garden centers around here. Already, I've gone to like a few sort of big box stores like B&M Home and B&Q, places like that, with garden centers around here already, and like seen plants. Not necessarily, like I haven't been looking intensely like at their stock, but I've seen them here. So who knows, maybe I'll be able to find more stuff in places like that or in like garden centers, because in London we didn't have any garden centers. There wasn't garden centers just around like there are in like outside of London-y areas. So looking forward to doing that little bit of plant shopping and like exploring the plant market in this new sort of world for me. There we go. Easy. Except I did end up pulling that root that was like mega stuck in here off. Unfortunately, I just don't have the patience to like try and pull it through the cloth without breaking it, so I didn't. The last one is my green unicorn, which look how much space. Actually, I don't know if the pot that I've picked, holy cow, is gonna be big enough. Also, look at this corm that's just growing out the side there. Maybe I want something a little bit bigger, because I did pull kind of the next size up, but I'm not sure that's gonna fit as deep as I want it to. So let me find something else real quick. So the only other bigger things I have are these two no drainage vessels, and I don't particularly want to use the one with the lip. Honestly, I might. Oh, this one's also cracked. Do you see that big crack? I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so that's cracked, so I shouldn't use it. This one might be big enough. I think I'll be able to tell once I've pulled it out of the pot that it's currently in. So let's pull it out first, and then we can decide. Oh my gosh. Okay. Take this corm off. Do I want to draw that corm? Maybe. I don't know yet. Oh my gosh, poor roots. They might get a bit stripped in here. Okay, what is the next? Are there any plants I'm struggling to find space for or like fit in the new place? Not really. Honestly, we have so many more windows in this place than we did in the last one. And in the last one, we solely only had southwest facing windows, except for in the kitchen. And we didn't want to have tons and tons of plants in the kitchen window because that was a window we liked to open when we were cooking. And so having too many in there was kind of annoying. But now we have like windows on all sides of the house. And so I've got northeast facing windows and southwest facing windows and, I don't know, all of the other directions. I have windows on, I think everything except for that side of the house. I don't know what, I think that's the northeast side? Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I only really care about the one in the plant room, which is southwest facing, so the light in here is fantastic. And the back, which is northeast facing because it's opposite of southwest facing. And so those are the only ones that I really needed to know for sure so I could figure out what plants could go where. And I did just that, and I have a window now that plants can go in to get full sun. Like I've got my cacti and my ficuses and all of those ones in a window with full sun. They're not getting grow light anymore. They're getting sun instead, which I'm really, really excited for and glad that I'm able to do that, because I think long term my plants will prefer it to grow lights. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to use grow lights anymore. I definitely will be. I have grow lights on above me right now. I've got my cabinets with grow lights in them. There will still be grow lights around. Oh my gosh, look how big that corm is. Yeah, maybe I will keep a couple corms to propagate because this one is just a solitary plant. What do we think? I think this is quite a step up. I think that would be better than this. I just have to pot it like deep in this, I think. So that is what I'm going to do. But yeah, I'm not struggling to fit my plants in here. I have so much more space that it is not an issue. But like I said, I'm not trying to fill the space so much that it like gets too overwhelming because I don't want that. And I feel like I'm actually at a really good number of plants in my collection right now. We'll see if that changes now that I've got more space. It very well could. It's totally possible. But like, it also might not at all. It might be that I find that about 100 is right for me in this space as well. I don't know. We will see. I mean, I feel like also I could get so many more plants that are low maintenance ones and just like put them elsewhere in the home. I'm very excited to do that. I will do a like plant styling outside of the plant room video at some point because like I said, there will be some plants that won't be in this space. And so that'll be quite fun as well, showing you what I have going on outside of my crazy, essentially greenhouse room. Oh, also someone asked how the kitties are doing. Oh my goodness, the kitties did not enjoy the physical act of moving. They were very confused, obviously, when we were putting stuff into boxes. They didn't particularly like that too much, but like they were fine with it. But the actual move itself, Cosmo was pretty good about it. He is just generally quite chill. He was just fine in his carrier. We drove with the cats and it's 4 hours. We are 4 hours drive from where we used to live in London. And we knew that Cleo was not going to enjoy the journey, but we didn't quite realize how much she was going to not enjoy it. She cried, like wailed for the first, I think, 2 hours of it. And that is after giving her gabapentin, which is like kitty stress relief anti-anxiety medication. That's with giving her gabapentin. Which is kind of crazy because that's kind of meant to help your cats just like chill and fall asleep. Also we had pet remedy spray, like the pheromone spray, to help keep them calm. No, Cleo was far from calm. She was crying. And it got to the point where originally I was sitting up front in the car because it just made more sense. And we got off at the first service station and didn't even get out, go to the bathroom, didn't stop for coffee or anything. I moved to the back seat and we carried on. We essentially did the entire drive in one go because Cleo was so upset and panicked that we just wanted to get it done as fast as possible because we felt so bad. As soon as she got here and like realized she wasn't in danger, she was absolutely fine, and they're both settling in so well now. I think they're loving having more space. They're loving bombing it up and down the stairs and like chasing each other through the space now, which is awesome. We've also been taking Cosmo out in the garden a bit more. We're trying to I think we're gonna get to the point where he can be an adventure kitty, which we're very excited about. And like we'll be able to take him on the beach and stuff and maybe even on walks because he is confident enough in a harness and on a lead to be fine with that, whereas Cleo, she is not. I also don't really think she has that much interest in that kind of thing. That's not her vibe. She's more of like a napper, which makes sense, whereas Cosmo's up most of the time and like curious and wanting to see what's happening. So while I do feel a bit bad that we're not taking Cleo out as much, maybe we'll build her a catio here and she can have some outside time in that, potentially. Another question that so many of you asked, which is so sweet. also I finished this, was, are you closer to Claire now? How do you feel about moving further from Claire, especially with her babies on the way and like coming very soon? I'm not closer to Claire. I am much further from her, but that's okay. That's kind of just how life is. You can't be right up next to your friends all the time, and especially now that Claire's having children, her life is going to change massively, and so my ability to see her is going to change drastically. I'm not going to be able to see her as much, probably, since one, I've moved further, and two, she is going to have 2 kids to look after, and so we will see what happens there, and like whether or not it presents an issue. I do wish I was moving closer to Claire, 100%. I would love to live closer to Claire, but just based off of where Joe could possibly work, it wasn't feasible, because there's not really an office near enough there that isn't the London office, and so if we moved to where she lives, it'd be like a 90-minute commute each direction for Joe, which is just, it's not reasonable, and like I could not subject Joe to that just so I could live closer to my friend. So that kind of sucks. But that being said, we already have plans to go visit her and hopefully the new babies, if they're here by then, in a couple weeks' time. So it's not like I'm never going to see her again. It's just going to be, like, I feel like longer amounts of time, and it's just going to be different, which is absolutely understandable because so many things are changing for both of us. But yeah, I am a little bit sad to be further from her. That being said, it's only a 3-hour drive to hers, and it was a 2-hour door-to-door when we were in London. So like, it's not like it's that much different. It's just a drive instead of a train and a bus and a car and all the different modes of transport. So yeah. And then before I answer the final question, I might actually grab a little pot to prop these guys in, the little things, the corms, because like I said, those are really nice corms, and I think it'd be nice to fill out that plant a little bit more. So I'll grab my fluval as well, just a little pot for them, and some fluval and perlite mix. To be honest, this is like more perlite than fluval, but that's okay. It should be fine. Or actually, the perlite's just on the outside, which is so weird how that happens. It is a pretty even mix then. But do that. And then the final question is this our forever home? And the answer is no, probably not, unless we love it so much that the landlord lets us buy it off him at the end of our tenancy, which is kind of unlikely and probably won't happen. So probably not, but could this be the forever area that we want to be in? Possibly. It very well could be. We really don't know. We don't know where we're going to want to be in 5 years, if we're still going to want to be in the UK even. We have no clue, because it like so many things in the world are changing all the time and aren't necessarily what we are looking to live in at the minute, and so who knows. I do still one day want to live back in San Diego because I love being there so much, but it's possible that I'll love living here just as much, and I won't know that until I've done it for a while. And so I'm gonna take my time and enjoy being here, being in the moment, and exploring this new journey and this new chapter of my life, and it might be my forever place. Who knows? Only time will tell, and I mean, I'll keep y'all updated, because who knows? We could hate it. That's why we're renting. If we don't like it, we only have to be here for a year. That's the joy of renting. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video and asking your questions. I hope this answered as many of them as possible. If your question wasn't answered, pop it down below in the comments and I can answer it down there as well, because like I said, I've been keeping this so very hush-hush for so long now that I feel like there's more I could say. I could probably talk about this forever and ever, but I don't want to bore you, and I've finished doing all of my repotting now. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I also need to thank so many of you for joining in my Patreon, my Good Growing family. We're on Patreon. So many of you joined in after the last couple of videos. I think it is because I mentioned that I told my patrons in 2025 there's like exclusive information over there. So I want to say a huge thank you to Veronica, Lark, Melanie, Marcy, Maria, and Sheris Leaves for joining in. I really hope you love it over there. Enjoy the bonus content and the live chats. I hope to meet some of you in one of those coming up soon. And yeah, I really do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy having a little bit more access to me in my life and get updates like my move over a year in advance. So anyways, if anyone else is interested in joining, the link is down below in the description. The lowest tier is £3 a month, but I've got £5 and £10 tiers as well if you want to support a little bit more, but you get the bulk of everything at the £3 tier. So absolutely no pressure if that is not your thing, but it is there if you would like. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!